Seasonal color analysis uses color theory to determine a color palette which harmonizes with your physical features. Your seasonal color palette provides you with a tool to develop your personal style and always look your best. The technique, originally used by artists to accurately depict mood and tone in their paintings, is popular among stylists and designers. Beyond this, color psychology can help you truly represent yourself by the way that you dress, understanding the messages behind color. The German philosopher Johann Wolfgang presented the seed of color analysis when he realized the connections between different colors. Later, after 1919, Johann Itten, a Swiss painter, presented the idea that portraits looked better when certain colors were used to complement specific hair and skin tones. He went on to develop 4 color palettes, named by the seasons, inclusive of 4 different complexions. He used this tool to aid his students with their artwork. After later development, the book Color Me Beautiful was written in the 80s and became a widely popular tool for individuals to use when developing a sense of style through fashion, beauty, and accessories. To understand how to use color, we need to understand the 3 dimensions of hue, value, and chroma. Hue, or temperature, focuses on determining the color which is present in your features, namely your skin coloring, hair, and eyes. It's generally understood that some colors depict warmth, whilst others appear cool. Thus, hue may be referred to as temperature. When we look at the color wheel, we can split colors through the center and immediately see which quality they present. We recognize yellow to be the warmest color. So simply put, those with yellowish undertones to their hair, eyes, and skin will definitely communicate warmth. On the opposite end of the spectrum, blue definitely communicates cool characteristics. As we move between the two, we may find people who fall between warm and cool, perhaps throughout the year. We'll find these individuals to have a neutral quality to their appearance, which may be more difficult to determine. Following this, your value or depth is much easier to identify. Consider the categories light, medium, and dark. Chroma defines the saturation of a color. A color may appear bright and clear, presenting a fresh clarity. In contrast, a color may be muted with a subtle quality and softness. With this understanding of the basic principles of seasonal color analysis, you may begin to determine your own season by closely observing your features. Firstly, your hue will either be mostly cool or warm. Those with warmer hues, yellow and peach undertones to the skin, gold or red undertones to the hair, and/or brown, hazel or green eyes will become either autumn or spring seasons. Those with cooler hues, pinkish undertones in the skin, blue-black hair or grey ashy blondes, and/or blue, grey or deep black eyes will become either winters or summers. Similarly, if your dominant features are dark, you will either belong to the winter or autumn season. And if your dominant features are light, you'll belong to either summer or spring. The application of the final value, chroma, allows us to accurately establish our position within our dominant season. The flow theory demonstrates how each season blends into its neighboring one. Using our dominant characteristic and establishing our secondary characteristic, we can accurately position ourselves in our relevant season. So, those whose value is dominant, whose first noticed quality is their darkness or lightness, become complete opposites on the season wheel. Dark autumn and winter neighbor each other, opposite light spring and summer. Those whose chroma of bright or soft is dominant also sit at opposite ends on the wheel. Where brightness dominates, It's followed by a hue of either cool or warm. So, bright winter and spring neighbour each other opposite muted autumn and summer. The true seasons are either dominated by their hue of warm or cool. True autumn and spring are warm. Think of spring flowers and warm autumn leaves. True autumn is paired with a secondary characteristic of muted chroma. This imitates the softness of the light at the time of year as the autumn falls into the winter. The features of the true autumn blend into its overall warmth with very little contrast between features. In contrast to this, true spring is paired with a secondary characteristic of a bright chroma. This imitates the brightness of the light at the time of year as the lightness of summer approaches. There is an overall clarity to the true spring which contrasts the softness of the true autumn. The cool seasons include true summer, which has a secondary characteristic of a muted chroma. The features of true summer are completely cool, with a softness and very little contrast. True winter also lacks any warmth. However, its secondary characteristic is a bright chroma, which creates a high contrast to at least one element, perhaps multiple, such as particularly bright skin, hair, colour or whites of the eyes or teeth, in high contrast to a particularly dark and cool element, such as hair or skin. This contrast imitates the crisp, cool nature of the winter season. To find out more about your particular season, or how to apply and understand seasonal colour analysis, find a complete guide to your season in the Seasonal Colour Analysis playlist.